Clay, you're an entrepreneur. I'm an entrepreneur. And as they say in Stoic, the obstacle is the way. And so if you let these pinheads get in your way, you're in trouble. Acta non verba is the motto of the U.S. Merchant Marine Academy at Kings Point, New York. I had appointments to Naval Academy and Kings Point Merchant Marine Academy. And Merchant Marine Academy's motto was acta non verba. In other words, don't listen to what a person says. Watch what they do. Clay, my honor to be on your show. And thank you for all you do. I hear the ripple effects from you are good ripple effects. You know what I mean? People rave about what they learn from you. So congratulations.
My name is Kevin Thomas, and the name of our company is MultiClean. We are a commercial janitorial service, and we serve the entire state of Oklahoma and Kansas and soon to be Arkansas. We have probably grown probably 5 times. We've added, I think when we first started with you, we had 60 to 65 employees. And now we have a little over 300 employees. Before we got involved with Thrive Time, we didn't really have any systems or processes in place. I've probably been to, in 6-7 years, I've probably been to 12 to 13 business conferences. And amazingly, each time I go, I learn something new, and I'm so excited to bring it back and show the team about marketing and how to implement, how to help you guys implement the SEO. And the coaching is just great because there's accountability, and it's just a fantastic way to grow your company. Having a relationship with Thrive Time it's just been amazing for MultiClean. Oh my goodness, it frees me up because then I don't have to take a class on search engine optimization or learn marketing or shoot video. That's not what we do. What we do is commercial janitorial service. And you guys are the experts on marketing, and you teach me and hold my hand and show me how to do it right. And therefore, now my company is much, much larger.
Folks, on today's show, we're joined by a real client. He may look like a male model. He may look like a hologram, but he's a real person. He's a longtime client. He's a man that we consider to be a friend of the Thrive Time Show and a friend of mine. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the show, Kevin. Welcome onto the Thrive Time Show. How are you, sir?
Clay, I'm doing great. Had a great Christmas holiday, and I'm glad to be here.
Okay, so first question, can you tell us what is your name, first and last name, and what's the name of your company, sir?
My name is Kevin Thomas, and the name of our company is MultiClean. We are a commercial janitorial service, and we serve the entire state of Oklahoma and Kansas and soon to be Arkansas.
And how long have we worked with you approximately at this point, sir?
It's been about 6-7 years.
Wake up every morning at 3 a.m. Cause that's when I start my grind in. And I got no time for stumbling and chit chat talk with the fake friends.
I'm on my grind, yeah. I'm on my grind. You need a job, I'm on my grind.
And we want to welcome all of His Glory Nation from east to west to north to south. Welcome to Kingdom Business Builders with Clay Clark, America's Kingdom Builder and Business. All right, we're going to get right to Clay here in a second. First is Kingdom Collagen. Get part of the Kingdom line, Kingdom Collagen. Look at all the benefits. Many people put it in their coffee in replace of creamer because there's so much bad stuff in creamer. Combine that with Kingdom Cup and you have a great combo. All right, Chronology, my go-to every night to sleep. Dr. Judy Mikovits loves this as well. Buy one, get the second one free. Free shipping. You can't beat it. It's the cranberry that makes all the difference. Purely Prepared Patriot. Another variant is going around. You can stock up through hydroxychloroquine, fenbin, ivermectin. No prescription. 40% off. Grab that. General McInerney is using that today and absolutely loves it. All right, the Billion Soul Partner. Join us with a Billion Soul Harvest. Any purchase of a reoccurring donation of $30 or more, you get my book coming, All for His Glory. Register to go to Footprints of Paul next year, and also Israel. Next year is going to be a huge year. We're going to the Footprints of Paul. which will be in Greece and Italy, and also back to Israel. Matter of fact, my friend who owns the Israeli tour guide is in Texas. He's coming to meet me next week, so we're going to break bread together. So he's coming all the way in from Israel to chat here in the studio. So we're gonna bring him on in the studio as well. All right, those are all the announcements. It's time for Clay Clark.
Super Dave.
Welcome, Clay.
Hey, I appreciate you allowing me to be here with you. And on today's show, we're going to talk about how to increase your expectations. Somebody, you're watching today's show and you are kind of stuck in a rut. And Dave, you and I met so many wonderful entrepreneurs in person at the Reawaken America Tour events. And you continue to meet great entrepreneurs and great patriots in person at your His Glory events. And nothing's worse than when I meet somebody who's stuck and I know that I can help them get unstuck, but they don't know that they can get unstuck. When you meet somebody who's perpetually stuck and they don't recognize how close they are from getting out of the rat race. And I just encourage anybody out there, if you're watching today's show and you feel financially stuck, we want to help you raise your expectations today. But before we do that, Dave, I want to get your thoughts on this. There was a time you worked in corporate America, and God revealed himself to you in a way that's miraculous. I don't think your listeners can hear it enough. But when did God reveal himself to you and raise your expectations for what you were to do with your life?
Well, it took me to die and literally go to heaven for him to show me the glory of heaven. But one of the key things that the Holy Spirit showed me are those pictures of my life, that everything in heaven was perfect. So I got to heaven in perfection, but my report card was empty. I didn't do anything for him up to that point, and he sent me down to start a ministry called by his name. And that's my goal for until he takes me home permanently, is to make sure that report card is full for his glory, not for me.
Now, Dave, my story is the reverse of, if that was profound, my story is pretty shallow. But I just remember having kids come over, spending the night. You know, when you're a young kid, you invite your friends to spend the night for the weekend. And I remember my friends saying, "Why is every box in your cabinet yellow?" I'll never forget that. I remember the kid says, "Why is every box in your cabinet yellow?" And I said, "Well, what do you mean?" And it occurred to me, we had the generic brand of everything. And it occurred to me that, you know what, financially, the reason why my dad was working the night shift wasn't because he chose to work the night shift at a convenience store. The reason why he was delivering pizzas for Domino's isn't because he chose to do that. It's because he needed to provide for us and he knew no other way. And so I applaud my dad, may he rest in peace, for putting in the work. But it occurred to me very vividly, I am not going to be in that spot financially. So here we go into the practical steps everybody can implement today. Expectations. Everybody write it down. It's EXPECT. Expectations. EXPECT. The first thing is, when you have everybody out there, if you're watching today's show, you need a mentor in your life, because they're going to increase the level of energy that you put on things that you know you're supposed to do anyway. Huh? Yeah, if you're stuck, it's probably because you don't have a mentor in your life. Now, not everybody's qualified to be a mentor, and I'm going to pull up this screen here so your listeners can see this. But, we've had, through the Thrive Time Show workshops over the last 20 years, we've had Eric Trump come through here. We've had Robert Kiyosaki come through here. And I certainly am not saying that I should be everybody's spiritual mentor, but as it relates to business growth, I know what I'm talking about. And so I think everybody out there, we all need somebody that can help us get unstuck. So let me tell you what Eric Trump had to say about his interactions here with the Thrive Time Show.
Clay Clark is here somewhere. Where's my buddy Clay? Clay is the greatest. I met his goats today. I met his dogs. I met his chickens. I saw his compound. He's like the greatest guy.
I ran from his goats, his chickens, his dogs.
So this guy's like the greatest marketer you've ever seen, right? His entire life, Clay Clark, his entire life is marketing.
So Eric Trump has obviously seen what we do, and I appreciate Eric saying kind things about us. Robert Kiyosaki, bestselling author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad, he attended one of our in-person workshops. This is what he had to say about our in-person Thrive Time Show workshops when he was on the Man in America podcast.
But that Clay Clark, man, he is one character.
It's a good word for him,
Yeah.
character. Yeah, that is it.
Driven, smart. And I've never met a guy who was so hyper all the time. He's doing so much good. And then I met his mother, and she just says, she just lets him be Clay Clark. I mean, so he's endorsed by his mother, and he's doing magnificent work. So it's great meeting you out there and all the people that he surrounds himself with. Clay Clark starts his days at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, it's incredible. Yeah, he's.
And I play this to say, Dave, from someone watching today's show, if you feel stuck and you don't know what to do, everybody out there, Dave, we all need a mentor in our life, right? So if your accounting is screwed up, you need an accountant you can trust. If you need to get your spiritual life together, you need a pastor you can trust. So if you're watching today's show and you say, I want to get unstuck, step number one, and although this may seem like a self-serving promotion for our conferences, I'm telling you, everybody out there, you need to have a mentor in your life that knows what they're doing. I've been doing this for 20 years. And you say, why do I need a mentor? One is they're going to raise the level of energy required. So spell out the word expectations, folks. E, the first letter is E. Energy. Dave, energy is a huge thing. You know this for your ministry. I mean, you guys are always sipping on those Sherwood healthy energy drinks. But Dave, what would happen to your broadcast if you guys had low energy or mediocre energy? What would happen if your crew wasn't bringing it every single day at His Glory?
Well, it would go boop, boop, boop all the way down. People are gravitated to energy. Energy fields more energy, and you want to be around energetic people.
And I'll say this, too. I mean, God has given Julie Green a prophetic voice, which she hasn't given me. But imagine that she delivered that prophetic voice with no or low energy. People just wouldn't watch. So Julie Green chooses to use the God-given prophecies that God gives her, but she delivers them with enthusiasm and sincerity, and that's why it connects. So if you're watching today's show, you say, I'm stuck, Clay. I want to get unstuck financially. What do I do? One, find a mentor that's going to help you bring big energy. Second is a good mentor, a solid mentor, a mentor that knows what they're talking about. They're not going to accept your excuses. So EX, excuses. They're just not going to say yes to the excuses. And Dave, I think a lot of well-intentioned people, what they do is they surround themselves with people that say, you know what, you're too young, you're too old. You know what, I understand now's not a good time for you. You're going through a divorce, you're going through a marriage. You're too young, you're too old, it's too cold, it's too sunny. With the election around the corner, with Trump in office, with Biden in office, now's not the time. But the time will never be just right. To quote Napoleon Hill, the time will never be just right. You must act now. To quote the Bible, Proverbs, it says, he that walketh with wise men shall be wise, but a companion of fools shall be destroyed. Proverbs 13:20. Dave, why is it that well-intentioned people often validate the excuses that we make for ourselves? Why does that happen?
Well, it's our subconscious. Our subconscious wants us to go and slow things down and be a little bit negative because of the world. The world has built us up with that we can't do it instead of we can. And you got to take action. You got to take massive action each and every day.
This is so powerful, folks. I'm telling you, if you feel stuck, we're going to help you get unstuck here. Move number 3, very important, okay? P, EXP, priorities. A successful mentor is going to help you refocus your priorities. We all have 24 hours in a day. Someone watching today's show says, well, I've actually invented time travel and I have 27. Okay, whatever. But we all have 24 hours a day. And the question is, what will we do with those hours? We all believe that every day we have is a gift from God. The question I have is, what will you do with the day? So today, Dave, you have blocked out a time to allow me on your show. I've blocked out time to be here with you. And it's important that we're intentional about our priorities, because Dave, if we're not intentional, our day is going to get filled with distractions and things that don't matter. So as we head into the break, I encourage everybody, head on over to thrivetimeshow.com. Prioritize it. Head on over to thrivetimeshow.com and find a way to join Eric Trump in person at our upcoming workshop in September, or join Tim Tebow in June at our in-person 2-day interactive business workshops. Dave, you've been to the workshops before. People trust you more than me. What are your thoughts on the workshops?
Again, I came from the corporate America, and our marketing in corporate America is so not good, and it's so boring. You lively it up. You give an action plan, and that's the key. Not only good ideas, but action plan, how to do it, how to repeat, how to scale it, how to take it to the next level, and have fun and energy while you're doing it.
Dave, I could not be more excited to meet the His Glory Nation. I encourage everybody out there right now during the break, go to thrivetimeshow.com, thrivetimeshow.com. Tim Tebow in June, and Eric Trump will be joining us in September. Going to the break.
I don't know about you, but I have to have that cup of coffee in the morning. And Kingdom Cup is mold-free, it is pesticide-free, and it is organic. It's got this flavor that is delicious. You don't even have to put cream or sweetener in it.
And it's Kingdom Cup with a K,
K.
right? So this is important. 50% of all coffee at least contains mold. And this is a key thing. That's in bean form, right? So you're going to be a little grinder. They're just a few bucks. Grind it up, put it in your maker, and make it. Why did we go with the bean form, the whole bean? Because ultimately the powder form is the one that gathers the most moisture. And that means the more potential mold development. So this is actually organic, mold-free, certified. It's got a little certificate with it. That's important because ultimately people drink coffee. It's cultural. And so we tried to meet the culture where it is and create a healthy alternative.
Mac Baron Cheese, Healthy Kids Vitamins. You want your kids to have the best, so why not the best vitamins? These vitamins were developed by people you can trust, not by big pharmaceutical companies out for profits. Essential nutrients for growth, development, and immunity. With a great berry flavor that your kids will love. Keep your kids strong, healthy, and on the go with Mac Baron Cheese Healthy Kids Vitamins. Get yours today at hisglory.me.
All right, we're back with Clay Clark, Kingdom Business Builders.
Now, again, why do we do this broadcast? We want the His Glory Nation to prosper. We want every single person who's watching this show to be successful in your spiritual life and your financial life, with your family. I call that the 7 F's: faith, family, finance, fitness, friendship, fun, focused attention. And so I'm encouraging everybody out there, we're going to help you get unstuck. And how do you do that? You need a mentor in your life that's going to raise your expectations. So a mentor is going to raise the level of energy required. Move number 2, they're going to make sure that they don't accept your excuses. That's the X. The next move here, P, for priorities. They're going to help you reorganize your priorities. Now, E, execute. A mentor is going to hold you accountable to getting something done. I find in our world we live in, filled with perpetual distractions, according to Nielsen right now, this is not a made-up stat. According to Nielsen, the average American now spends 11.3 hours per day on their smartphone consuming media. Think about this. So the average person is spending 11.3 hours per day consuming technology, consuming content on their smartphone. This is Nielsen reports. The average American is spending over 11 hours per day mindlessly watching Netflix and cat videos and whatever. So a mentor is going to hold you accountable. And I want to show this to everybody out there. This is a success story of a client we've worked with who didn't start with us until his mid-60s. Watch this story. Here we go, folks. Optimized to be canonically or Google compliant. Third, we need to make sure that the website is mobile compliant. Here we go. Training. Let's find him. Now, I have a hairstylist. I'm going to find him. Let me find 1 second here.
OK.com.
Okay, and I'll put all this in the show notes so people can go verify you're real. How long have we worked with you, sir? How long have we had the opportunity to work together?
I believe we worked together for 5 years now.
5 years. Now you have had a lot of growth because you implement all the systems that we teach you. Could you maybe talk about how much you've grown over these past 5 years?
Yes, we've grown almost 5 times, between 4 and 5 times what we were doing before. That's 4 to 500%.
Now, how long had you been in business before we had ran into each other?
I hate to admit it, we had been in business for almost 15 years.
Wow. So you'd kind of, Dave, this is a guy who could say, I'm too old to be successful. I've been in my mid-60s. I've been doing business the wrong way for a long time. It's a doctor, Dr. Corrigan, great guy. But he said, you know what? I need a mentor that's going to show me the proven path. You say, what's the value of a mentor? 1, we raise that energy. 2, we cut out the excuses. 3, priorities. We help you reorganize those. 3, we help you execute. And Dave, I don't think a lot of people know this, but if anybody goes to thrivetimeshow.com and attends one of our workshops, we teach everything needed to grow a successful company. We teach marketing, branding, sales, leadership, customer service. We teach all of that. And Dave, I think there's somebody watching today's show who thinks they're too old to have success. Dave, what do you say to somebody watching today's show who says, I'm too old, I'm too young? What do you say, Dave?
Read your Bible. Abraham and Moses are two examples of never being too old. Caleb, Joshua, all of them throughout the Bible.
Just, folks, I'm telling you, if you're watching today's show, if you have the mental capacity to watch today's show, I promise you can do this, okay? Next thing here, okay? What we do to raise your expectations, again, this is what mentorship does for you. We serve as a change agent. What does that mean? A change agent, EXPECT. Change agent, change agent. My job, Dave, is to follow up with my clients on things until they get done. And it's almost like an irritant, like that clam. We know the story about the clam, and the clam, it gets irritated by the irritation that's in the clam shell, and then it tries to get the irritation out, the sediment, it tries to get it out, and it ends up becoming a pearl. We all know the story about the pressure of the earth, how it creates a diamond. My job is to irritate in a positive way my clients. And Dave, you've had a great coach in your life, and when you played football, you've had great coaches in your life. Can you talk about that balance? Because so many of my clients I work with, like Dr. Corrigan, they say, I don't know what it is, but you just relentlessly follow up on myopic details, and it sort of pushes stuff into getting it done that normally would just go into the junk drawer. What is that, Dave, about having a coach that follows up on everything all the time?
It's important. Even if you're a Tom Brady, you still have a quarterback coach. You have somebody always teaching you the fundamentals. Tiger Woods, the best of the best in his peak in golfing, always had a coach. Me in my world, when I was in football, always had many coaches, quarterback coaches, cornerback coaches. Business world, I always looked to mentors outside of AT&T that could help me take it to the next level, whether that be Sam Walton or Tony Robbins or whoever it may be. And then in the Bible, it's been Chuck Missler and Perry Stone, who've been two impacts to help me grow my walk.
This is a quote I'll give to your listeners. Robert Kiyosaki, the best-selling author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad, he says that professionals hire coaches, amateurs do not.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Professionals hire coaches, amateurs do not. I want to tell you a story. Years ago, I was working with a guy who's a retired pro athlete. And he looked like an average guy. You wouldn't know he used to play pro sports. And I'm not going to give anybody fitness advice or anything, but you wouldn't know he used to play pro sports. And then I saw him like a year later, and he looked like he was ready to play professional again. And I said, man, you look awesome. He goes, well, I hired a coach. But it occurred to him at the pro level of pro sports, he had a diet coach to push him and a strength trainer to push him. And once he retired from professional sports, he no longer had a trainer. He no longer had somebody to push him. And therefore he would go to the gym, the same gym with the same equipment at the same time, but there wasn't somebody pushing him to success. And I'll tell you, if you find a successful person, you're going to find somebody who had a mentor pushing them, somebody coaching them, somebody guiding them. And we want everybody watching today's show to have access to that. And that's why we do the two-day interactive in-person workshops. I've been doing those for 20 years. And something happens when you're in the room with Eric Trump. At the last one we did, somebody asked a question about Eric and how he organizes his day. And Eric said something to the effect of that he wakes up every day at 5. And I could tell right away the guy that asked the question, he grabbed out his notepad, wrote that down, and he looked at me with kind of that guilt look like, okay, because that was an excuse he had made was, hey, I'm in my mid-30s, I've got a family, I can't wake up at 5 anymore. And here Eric is in his early 40s with a family saying he wakes up at 5, and all of a sudden that excuse was gone. Then there was a question. Again, all the questions I asked Eric during the Q&A were based upon questions submitted from listeners. So I asked Eric, I said, Eric, how important is energy? And Eric said something to the effect of, it's everything. Like everything is energy. You've got to bring great energy. And again, the guy, I know who wrote the questions, but I look over and I make eye contact with this pastor over here that has kind of a lame duck ministry that's been stagnant for years. And I know the guy because he's attended a previous conference, and he talked to me about, well, his ministry, he doesn't think he needs to bring a lot of energy because of his ministry and all of a sudden, Eric just saying, we won't even hire you to work for us if you don't have good energy. And this pastor kind of looks at me and he's like, well, that didn't go over well. And again, having a mentor in your life one-on-one to push you through these hurdles that are so predictable. I encourage everybody out there, if you feel stuck, find a way to have a mentor or get out to one of our workshops. And the final thing that a great mentor does, and there's a lot of other details, is they make everything time sensitive. Okay. So a dream, a dream has no, in my opinion, in my world, a dream or potential, I really don't focus a lot on that. But a goal is a dream with a deadline. What am I saying? A goal is a dream with a deadline. Potential is simply unrealized growth in your life. And I think if we're not careful, what we do is we get excited about our goals, we get excited about our dreams, but we don't ever execute. And so if you're watching today's show and you say, Clay, I want to get unstuck, I want to build a super successful company. How do I do that? First thing I want you to do, call to action. I want everybody to go to thrivetimeshow.com and find a way. I mean, President Trump is trying to make America great again, but I would ask everybody out there, what are you doing to try to make your finances great again? I would invest in yourself. Go to thrivetimeshow.com, thrivetimeshow.com. We've got Tim Tebow, legendary football player turned entrepreneur, joining us June 5th and 6th in Tulsa, Oklahoma. We've got Eric Trump joining us, Julie Green, Amanda Grace, Mel K, Alina Haba, Dr. Stella Emanuel joining us here in Tulsa, Oklahoma, September 25th and 26th. And you say, well, how much are the tickets? They're $250 or whatever price you can afford. And you say, really? Yeah. So we've got, I'm going to share it with you. It's a success story. This guy drove to one of our conferences. He's from Iowa. Check this out, folks. Here we go. A wonderful man. We've had the opportunity to meet in person during multiple in-person workshops. That's my office, by the way. Here we go. Comes from the great state of Iowa. Josiah Ragsdale, welcome on to the Thrive Time Show. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great.
This guy, born yesterday, came to one of our Thrive Time Show 2-day interactive business workshops and went on to become a super success story. Dave, this guy, look at this video here. This guy looks like he was born yesterday. Look at this, folks. Analyze the film. How old is this guy? Is this guy 7 years old? Watch this. So I got to ask you, how did you originally come in contact with us there, sir? Here it is.
Actually, through Spotify. Yep.
Through Spotify. Okay. Do you remember what you were doing on Spotify? Were you looking for business shows, or was it recommended, or how did you find the Thrive Time Show?
I think I was looking for business shows because I was.
Dave, look at this guy. He's like a very young entrepreneur. He can't be 30 years old, Dave. And we've helped this guy to build a massively successful company, and I'm not exaggerating at all. Josiah Ragsdale, right there in Iowa, he's grown his business by 10x. And you say, what's his business? He does automotive repair. Automotive repair. He's grown his business by 10x. Dr. Corrigan, north of 60 years old, he just said, you heard him say it, he's grown his medical practice by 5 times. So if you're watching today's show and you feel stuck, my calls to action would be, 1, go to thrivetimeshow.com and request your tickets for our June 5th and 6th Tim Tebow conference, or the September 25th and 26th Eric Trump conference. It's in Tulsa, Oklahoma. The tickets are $250 or whatever price you want to pay. 2, don't make an excuse. Find a way to get there. Dave, I'll let you take it from here because I think there's somebody out there that wants to come, but we have an excuse. We're validating in our mind. We've come up with some reason as to why we can't make it. What do you say, Dave, to somebody who says, I don't know if I can make it?
Take action, and take massive action today. As you said, you got to have a sense of urgency, and today's a day to take action. Jim Rohn used to famously say, when I was studying the corporate world, success leaves clues. Study successful people, implement it, execute it, come with fiery energy, enthusiasm unknown to mankind, and make a difference.
Dave, I appreciate everybody watching today's show. Go to thrivetimeshow.com, to learn more.
Clay Clark is here somewhere. Where's my buddy Clay? Clay's the greatest. I met his goats today. I met his dogs. I met his chickens. I saw his compound. He's like the greatest guy.
I ran from his goats, his chickens, his dogs.
So this guy's like the greatest marketer you've ever seen, right? His entire life, Clay Clark, his entire life is marketing.
4,000% from February to February. Now, I can better that. Okay, Clay, I don't think you know this. I don't think you know this. I'm pinching myself, and if I cry, forgive me. In the last 2.5 days, we have bettered our entire month of February in the last 2.5 days. So, and the phone's blowing up. Everything's just blowing up. You're right. It is like a rocket ship. So we're pinching ourselves, actually.
I learned at the Academy, Kings Point in New York, acta non verba. Watch what a person does,
not what they say.
But I recognized at the age of 15, I'm going, you know what? I am not going to live that way. And so I started a company out of my parents' basement called djconnection.com. And I decided I am going to have success. And so I reached out to millionaires and people that I kind of knew through church and friendships and people that parents of my friends. And I said, what book would you recommend that I read? I'm a 15-year-old asking this question. True story. And I kept being told, you got to read.
Hello. Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad Radio Show. It's an exciting time. Also, I think a treacherous time, a spooky time also. But it's always, danger is a good time. Today, my guest is Clay Clark, and I went out with Tom Wheelwright to visit Clay with Eric Trump also. And the reason I want to talk to Clay this morning is a very important subject called study. And the reason I say that is things are changing so fast, and many people are completely missing the show. Things are changing at rapid speed. Technology is changing. And so I went to Tulsa, again, with Tom Wheelwright and Eric Trump. And the thing I was so impressed about Clay is this word called study. I don't know, you guys must be in your water or something, Clay, but boy, I was so impressed how big you guys are. But what really impressed me was you have this huge congregation. They're all about guys your age. They're on fire. And you start your classes at 5 a.m. Now, let me talk to you about study here. We show our books here. Now, this is how I study. This is The Creature from Jekyll Island. It's on the Fed. And Clay's doing the same thing. We study. So I go out to Clay's place in Tulsa, Oklahoma. He's built this huge compound out there. And you guys start at 5 o'clock in the morning. It's not by Zoom. They drive there. They show up 5 o'clock, bright-haired, bushy-tailed and all this. And they're on fire. Your group is on fire. So that's what was on Clay, this technology. You tell your group, I was so impressed. Because, like I said, studies became a bad word. I got into fights in my own company because our staff didn't want to study anymore. And I don't know how they cannot do that. So, Clay, anyway, welcome to the Rich Dad Radio Show. That's what I want to talk to you about, is how do you do it? 5 o'clock in the morning, you have hundreds of people showing up in your huge auditorium on your property to study. Anyway, welcome to the show, Clay, and what turns you on so much? That's what I want to know. Give us a little about your background.
Karime Schofield, and the name of our company is Whistle While You Clean.
I am Sophia Schofield.
We live in Cincinnati, Ohio, and we service the tri-state, so Kentucky, Ohio, Indiana.
We were getting a phone call, and we were like, why is someone calling our business line? That's unusual, and we picked it up, and it was a lead.
I mean, it's been incredible, Clay. We've gone from 0 to 100% growth. We're like a full functioning company. It's great. We're blown away at how well we're doing. So working with you guys have really taught us a lot about generating leads and pursuing our Dream 100. So we have a list of customers that we want to market to. And so we've been making phone calls, we've been showing up in person. We're trying to get near the businesses that they would visit if they were visiting like a hair salon or something. And then we start calling them and we just start pursuing them. And then the other thing that we do is when we do cleans, we take a lot of video testimonials and we post those to our website so other customers can see. And then we also upload a lot of images of the things that we do. And so we're also asking our clients for Google reviews after we've cleaned their houses. And so it's this constant cycle of doing those things over and over and over again. I would say if you're on the fence, go to one of Clay's conferences. They are hilarious. They're fun. They're educational. They're so good that even my teenagers like them. And I would say don't let fear hold you back. If you want to start a business, do the obvious thing and hire someone who knows how to run businesses. If I wanted to get in shape, I'd hire a gym person, a personal trainer. This is like the personal training for business. It has been absolutely amazing. I mean, our coach is encouraging. When he first met with us, he said, do we want him to be like a drill sergeant with us? What level of intensity do we want him to give us? And I will say he is incredibly, incredibly encouraging all the time, and he just hits the same mark with us every single time. It's very repetitive, but I think we both really learn a lot every time we sit down and have a conversation with him over the phone. He keeps pushing us to go further, and he can recognize when we're afraid to do something, and he'll give us a little bit of grace, but that next week he's drilling us again, like pushing us to go harder. Our no-brainer offer is we are offering your first clean for $1. And that sounds absolutely insane. It even sounded insane when I was talking over it with our business coach. And I will tell you that that has generated some of our hugest clients. I mean, that has been like a game changer because it opened up the door to more clients, more recommendations, more leads. And we were surprised how far that dollar clean got us.
How important has it been for you to work out that scripting, even though you offer $1 for the first clean? How important has it been for you to nail that down?
It's been really important because it kind of it hones in so that you're not just all over the place when you're trying to explain what it is that you do. And a lot of times it's like you're a good person offering a good product and you have integrity and you want to communicate that. But when you go to communicate without a script or without practice, it's just like a mess coming out of your mouth, as opposed to having this, honed in practice where you know what you're going to say, you know how you're going to say it, and you can almost expect better results when you do it that way.
Had you ever been an entrepreneur before starting this particular business?
No, never.
Did you ever think about wanting to own your own business someday? Or when was the first time you thought, maybe I would like to open my own business?
Absolutely. I've probably been dreaming about it for about 10 years.
Okay. And let me go to your daughter here. Had you ever thought about wanting to team up and open your own business? Or was that something that you were maybe excited about or not so much?
Well, for me, my parents would always listen to your podcast and business podcast. And as I started listening to them, I started realizing that I wanted to own a business.
It's www.whistlewhileyouclean.com. Honestly, the hardest thing was getting over the fear. It was the fear of the unknown. There was like a cloud of doubt that, you can't do this, you're going to fail. There was a few sleepless nights there when we did pull the trigger and join your team and start the coaching process. Even my husband put a little bit of pressure on me from time to time because it was just absolutely scary to take that jump and actually start a business.
Whoa.